Hey, welcome to Mike the Baptist. It's been a while. Well, no, it hasn't. It's been about a week. But anyway, we're all back. I'm back with H.D. Jones.
Hey, good to see you.
He's sitting right over here on my side of the table. Always an exciting adventure when we sit on the same side of the table.
Yes, it is.
Or the opposite sides of the table, come to think of it. H.D., my mother from another brother.
Boy, that hurt.
There you go, off to a roaring start. Michael Koontz is across the table.
Hello, Jackson.
Good to see you, Michael Koontz.
It is good to see you too, sir.
The shirt, have you worn this shirt before, or is this a new one?
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because I was actually going through previous episodes,
Right.
and trying to see what I have worn recently.
Okay.
And I don't think this one's been worn in a while.
Okay. I don't recall it.
But it may have been. I'm just not sure.
Early on in this process, I was not really paying attention to the shirts. But now that I know that you're in an effort to show us your entire wardrobe of printed shirts, then now I'm trying to kind of pay attention.
Let me tell you, we got a special one for the live episode.
Oh, really?
And we got one that you'll never forget.
And that will be this Sunday because
That's exactly right. Tomorrow.
Yeah, we're talking right now. It's actually this Saturday anyway.
Yeah.
But yes,
Tomorrow we're going to do live.
Tomorrow, if that's right.
Yeah.
Unless you watch it on Friday nights, which is a
Now we're just messed up.
Yeah, we're messed up, all right.
I've worn the same socks to every episode. They're kind of my lucky socks.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
I was like, there's something in the air.
Right?
Well, anyway, yes, the
was
shirts.
the coffee and some bad cheese.
I'm glad the shirts are. I'm going to take over now because I can hear it going awry over to this side of me. Anyway, Neil Andrews is back.
Hey.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you as well.
I guess that's it.
You don't want to make fun of his wardrobe? Come on.
Nope, I'm not going to pick on your wardrobe. He's wearing a Cookie Monster shirt that says "Still Fresh."
Don't
This side of the table, we'll leave it alone.
Nope.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's good to see you two. Good to see all of you all. I'm Mike the Baptist, and we're going to do another podcast program for you right here, right now. I'm excited about this Sunday live thing. It's actually not going to be broadcast live because I do not trust the men at this table.
But it is going to be taped live.
It's going to be taped live, so there'll be a live studio audience.
We need it. We don't want one of those Janet Jackson Super Bowl halftime moments.
No.
I thought you were going to say something like Milli Vanilli, but
Right
you
now.
went the other way.
Yeah, I did.
Either one.
We date ourselves.
Either one, yes. Yeah. Either way, we're going to try to avoid those sort of mishaps. But looking forward to it. And I was going somewhere with that, and then I totally forgot it.
Well, you're excited about Sunday.
Well, I am. One of the reasons I'm excited about it is because I'm aware that there are a few people that we know personally that still don't know about this thing that we've been doing. So I'm excited that they're going to come and see it live, and then I hope they get interested and start watching and listening. I think I've determined that we're going to have the ushers take the 1.5ers, who are the people that speed this podcast up to listen to it faster. We're going to sit them all in the back so they can get out of there as quick as it's over, because I know they'll be in a hurry. And then the people that take their time and enjoy it, we're going to put them up front.
Shouldn't you put them up front so that it'll come quicker to them? I mean, the further back.
Oh, the audio, yeah.
Yeah, the audio takes longer to get there.
We'll do a test on Saturday morning early and see how that works out. But anyway, www.mikethebaptist.com. Visit the website, see all the old episodes, the new episodes, buy you a mug and a T-shirt, and help pay the light bill here so we can continue the frivolity. Send us an email, comments at mikethebaptist.com. I like the emails, so send them. It seems like if I don't chastise people and just say, you need to be sending us an email, they don't send them. So if I really just kind of bear down and say, look, we want to hear from you. Send us an email. We might say your name.
Do you have a text option?
Huh?
Do you have a text option?
Oh, not yet, but the capabilities are there to do that. But the issue is, since we're doing this live but not live, we have a little bit of a problem of people responding immediately. But we do have the capability. We actually have the capability for phone calls, which is extremely dangerous, and I don't trust anybody really that would call. But in the future, we'll see what happens. We may have to stop the whole thing after this live taping this Sunday. We'll see what happens after that. But anyway, send us an email, and give us some comments, et cetera, which is why it's labeled comments at mikethebaptist.com. I'm just saying.
Well, that's logical.
Isn't it? Yep. I just realized that here recently myself. Before we talk about serious things, which we do and we will later on, well, this is serious too. I like to have a front porch visit. I'm a big proponent of bringing back the people visiting, just sitting around visiting. We don't really have a front porch here, but you get it. I mean, you'll hear the little sound effect here in just a second, and it sound like people going out on the front porch. That's what that's all about. You probably knew that. Today on the front porch, which also, by the way, is a way to get to know preacher type people better on a human level, and I will let you guys know that I hear that regularly from people that enjoy this now because of getting to know you guys off stage. I hear this regularly. I don't know if they're telling you that, but they tell me that. So it's pretty interesting. So we're going to keep doing it. Today on the front porch, I would like to talk about things that we did with our first cousins as kids. When you're a kid, now me, I was raised in northwest Arkansas, up in the Ozarks, and some of my aunts and uncles moved off to Little Rock, 2 hours away. Some moved to Texas, 8 hours away. Some were in Missouri. But once in a while, they would all come to our hometown, which is where the whole thing started, and the first cousins would get together. And I don't know what happened in you all's experience, but even if they're local, I know that first cousins are kind of a unique relationship. You're kind of like a brother, but you're not. You're kind of like a brother and sister to those people, but you can send them home. I guess that's kind of how that works. But anyway, so that's what I'd like to talk about today. Koontz, let's start with you.
Okay. So two different avenues there for me, because my dad was the baby of the family by like 20 years from his oldest sibling. Whoa. And then my mother was the oldest by several years on her side. So I have cousins that are 10 years plus older than me, 20 years older than me on dad's side. And then on the other side, some that are quite a bit younger than me. So we'd always be in Tennessee for our 4th of July family reunions. And when we'd get together with all the cousins, and there'd be dozens of us at these family reunions, the things that we would do there, we were always at the swimming pool, because one of my aunts had the nice in-ground swimming pool. Mm-hmm. We would, 4th of July, we'd always have a whole lot of fireworks. And we were shooting things off for a long period of time with that. And then my uncle that had the swimming pool, he also had a pinball machine out in the garage. So that was a hoot. We had a lot of fun stuff.
That's big time.
It was. I mean, it was
pinball.
He was a high roller, so it was
swimming pool and pinball.
That's right. We were driving around in a Ford Escort from Indiana, to get there to play with those things. Then on the other side of the family, what we would usually do, watch NASCAR or go to their NASCAR races. And Talladega, we'd go there some, or Atlanta. I went with some cousins there a couple of times. So a little bit more low-key watching or going to a race.
Do you remember what the pinball game was?
Ooh, no, I don't. I'll have to ping some of my cousins and see if they could remember what that one was. So that was pretty much it for us. We that side of the family just kind of hung out, watched NASCAR races. Might go to one every once in a while, but
so
pretty low-key stuff.
So did you and your cousins do anything like mean?
No, we didn't get to hang around each other long enough to get into real trouble.
So you were just nice and polite when you did see them.
Yeah. We go to the arcade or something, but when you only got to see each other a couple of times a year, we didn't get into much mischief.
We tied each other up and rolled them off bales of hay and stuff. But we saw each other a lot, so.
Yeah, no, we never got to that point.
Okay, well.
So you had a roll in the hay with your cousins?
No. Well, yeah, but technically, I was okay. Yeah. Hey, Neil.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about getting together with your first cousins, like pretty quick?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly holidays, so Christmas and Thanksgiving and things like that. But the fun times were not the holidays when the whole family wasn't around, and I never got to really get like dirty, filthy, dirty playing outside. Mm-hmm. And my cousins knew that, and they always used to laugh about it. So we'd go play in the mud.
It's just like your mom didn't want you to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So when she's not around, we go play in the mud and out in they had a farm.
Right.
So we were out in the field just digging and having a good time. They're the ones that introduced me to M80s. And, an M80 under those big garbage cans that are plastic ones.
Oh, yeah.
You turn one of those upside down and throw an M80 under it, and it'll fly.
It'll send it up, won't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Kids, don't try this at home.
Yeah, no.
Well, I don't know.
Not endorsed by MTB.
I don't know. It's
Is this a TV 14 rating?
Right.
now?
your cousins. Did they live there where you did?
Yeah, they were close, but like 30 miles, something
Yeah,
like that.
that's
So
pretty
not
close.
too far. Yeah. Then the other ones lived farther away. And playing with Hot Wheels, doing stuff like that.
Koontz said he had a wide spread of ages. Was yours pretty close to
Yeah.
you, or were they?
The one contingent was all older, and then the other one, I was the old one, and they were the younger ones. So
Pretty neat.
yes.
So, like I know with my first cousins, there was like one that I would always team up with when they showed up, and we were always like kind of a team. And then my brother teamed up with his brother, and so did you have that kind of a deal?
I did. I had one in particular that's he's younger than me, but he was Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force, and we always had good conversations. We both liked Star Trek. He worked he worked for the NSA for a little while, but I can't talk about that.
Exactly.
So-
So he was not like a lieutenant when he was like 12. You're talking about like
No. When he was 12, though,
'cause that threw me
That
for a little bit.
is really weird.
how did that
My brain
happen?
works like.
Did yours happen? Did that happen?
Yeah,
to you
I was
too?
like, dang, how old was he when he joined?
Well, I was picking, because I was imagining all of us, being 10 or 12 out playing, and you said he was a lieutenant colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no. Okay, so this was Indiana.
Yep. Back home again.
I guess yours was Virginia.
Indiana.
Was yours Virginia? You're not from Virginia. Why do I
He
keep
was from
thinking you're
Indiana.
from Virginia?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Well,
That's where they were all
I
at.
thought you were from.
I lived in Indiana growing up.
This is all confusing.
All
Where
the,
y'all
all
are
the
from.
Koontzes are from Knoxville or the surrounding areas. So that's
Okay.
where we would always go back to.
Oh, okay.
We were the outcasts that moved away.
Well, I understand that. A lot of people where I'm from, Arkansas, are people that lived out here somewhere, but they like kill somebody, and then one of them moved out there that did the killing and changed their name.
Yeah, it happens.
So we're all kind of descendants of somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know this for a fact. It's just a thought. Now, speaking of thought, HD,
I'm so
I'm anxious
confused.
to hear what you
I'm
and
so-
your first cousins might have used to do back in the day. Do you have any stories for
Well,
us?
you're
You could
giving
share?
a definition of who first cousins are. First cousins are those people that will show up to your parents' funeral, but they're just not in the will.
That's
you're
pretty close. Yeah,
yeah, you're close,
close
but
to them.
You're close, but just not that close.
Exactly.
So on my mom's side of the family, like I was the oldest. So when we were with them, I was babysitting. Not a whole lot of funny. Although one of them threw up on me one time and just doused me. I was like, I'm never having kids. But on the Jones side, we were all like stair steps. I mean, like literally just a year or two apart. And we were the Magnificent Seven, and we just get in trouble all the time. And we'd get together. I remember for some reason Nerf football was a big thing for us. Boys, girls, everybody. We just went outside and played Nerf football, and it wasn't a game till somebody cried. And then they had this old apple tree, and I remember picking up apples and throwing them at each other, and then one of my cousins decided that he really liked apples, and he ate like 2 or 3 of them and blew his britches off, man. I mean, it was one of those, it's like mama stripped him down and just hosed him outside because it just worked its magic,
I knew it was coming. It worked his magic.
It worked its magic. Yeah. So
Was this on the Jones
on the
land
Jones?
side?
Oh yeah,
Over in
absolutely.
Greenbrier?
Yeah, right there in front of my granddad's house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then he was always mad because he wanted to pick the apples and dry the apples, and
Yeah.
we just wanted to throw them at each other.
I don't know exactly where to go with all that.
I know, right?
but-
You're welcome.
So this was I don't know where to go with that.
Tell us about yours, Jackson.
Well, in relation to the eating, I was telling you about tying somebody up and rolling them off a
hay.
Yeah, my great granddad had this flatbed trailer, a big semi-type flatbed trailer over there. I guess he'd gotten a load of hay, which is why there wasn't hay bales still on it, but there's straw all over there. But I was raised by my grandparents, so all the first cousins came to my house when they came into town. That's where they came, to my place, and so we were all pretty close. I think all my mother's sisters just were busy at the same time or something, because we were all kind of close to the same age. And there was quite a few of us when we all got together, but it wasn't a real wide range. It's a strange day. But anyway, one time we all got together. We liked to chase lightning bugs, but we would mash them all over our blue jeans. You ever do that? We'd catch lightning bugs, and then we would mash them and smear them up your blue jeans, and then you'd have this glow-in-the-dark smear on
we
your
always
jeans
put
for
them
a
in
while.
a jar and made a nightlight out of them.
Yeah.
We did that too, but it was more fun sometimes just to smash one, kind of cruel, but
Yeah.
they did stink. And June bugs, we would catch June bugs, tie them on a string. You ever do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did that at our family reunions every year. Well, not every year.
Well, now
but we
see,
did
there's
that.
a whole different story.
Fun
What they
times,
did at the
fun
family
times in East
reunions.
Tennessee, right?
East Tennessee.
So anyway, we were all gathered up there one summer, and my great-grandparents lived about a mile down a dirt road from where I grew up there. And we would all go down there because they had rabbits. They raised rabbits commercially. So they had rabbits, huge chicken coops, cattle, pigs. It was just this big farm with all kinds of stuff going on. We would all venture down there and get into all kinds of chaos. And we were down there, all of us, one time, the whole tribe, out there creating chaos. Well, if you showed any sign of weakness in these gangs, everybody would turn on you. It was a free-for-all. I must have shown a little weakness that day, because I wound up with my hands tied behind my back and my feet tied together, laying up on this semi-trailer bed of hay. And somebody, I think it was my brother Rick, rolled me off of it. And so you can't stop your fall with your hands tied and your feet tied. And I was really, really mad. And I don't remember what happened after that. I couldn't do anything to him. But then the same day, we wound up back at my place, where just before dark, one of that tribe force-fed one of those little hot, what's that really hot little pepper? The
Ghost pepper?
It may have been Ghost. It's one of those really
Scotch bonnet?
tiny green, just really. But anyway, one of them force-fed one of the other kids that. I don't even remember which kid it was, but they were crying and snotting and coughing and hacking and running all over the place. It was just a chaos. But that's what we did when we got together.
We tortured each other.
We tortured each other. And my cousin Renee, she liked to shoot the cattle in the rear end with one of our BB guns. That's one of her hobbies when she would come. She would shoot the cattle.
Be a good shot.
She was a good shot because she could
big
center them.
So did a BB even affect a cow?
Oh, they would get there. Well, where she would shoot them, it would.
Never mind.
Because it would.
Never mind.
It would get your attention.
That's
too.
utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, she would do that.
Let's move along.
Her husband, who was a boyfriend, he started coming up from Texas when they started dating. And so he came up, they dated several years before they married, but he was like a member of the family already before they married. But he was up there one time when we all got the BB guns out, and he felt bad about this for years and years. He may still feel bad about it, but he was out in the front yard, and obviously Renee had handed the BB gun to him, and he shot a rock out going off our driveway to the highway, and hit that rock and came back and made a hole in the picture window. We had one of those big glass picture windows they used to have in houses, and it was right where my grandmother would sit and watch the highway. She wasn't in there, but so to this day there's a little BB hole in that picture window. That's Richard's. Okay, it's not as exciting as yours, H, but they never are. But anyway, thanks for sharing. First cousins. I hope you too, listening, thought about your first cousins and the trouble that you got into, and the things that you done that you never repented for, but still need to. I hope we caused a little of that. We're going to wrap it up, come back, talk about some stuff we found in the Bible. Should be a little more serious. No promises, but should be. You'll never hear us say at Mike the Baptist that you need our logo t-shirts or hoodies. Just like you wouldn't hear us say that you need Barry White music. But now that Mike the Baptist has logo coffee mugs, we are a little tempted to point out that coffee would only have to taste better out of something that special, or a good hot cocoa, or a rich, smooth cappuccino in one of those brand new 11 or 15 ounce coffee mugs with that warm and inviting Mike the Baptist logo with the fake neon lettering. No, we'll never tell you that you need stuff, but we might remind you that it's not a sin to buy stuff like that, and that a little of the money you spend goes toward keeping Mike the Baptist on the air and in your head like a good Barry White album turned up to 7 while you do your taxes or trim those hedges. Find out more about the new logo coffee mugs and our t-shirts and hoodies with funny little sayings and our logo at www.mikethebaptist.com/merchandise. When was the first book written of the Bible? Does anybody know the first scroll that made it into the canon and all that? Does anybody know? Okay.
Some people think Job was one of the first written down.
Really?
Yeah.
And who wrote the book?
Before Genesis.
Who wrote that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, or do we even know who wrote it?
Well, I mean, we don't necessarily know who the author is, but it has a similar feeling of writing and stuff as Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. So they think that Job may be one of the early.
So are we even clear who wrote those first ones, or is it kind of...
They're the first 5 are attributed to Moses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that he... Either way, do we know any idea of when?
In the galaxy, far. No, it was
away.
a long time ago. But obviously, he wasn't an eyewitness to all those things.
Right. Yeah. It was.
God revealed those things to him.
Well, the reason I ask is because I always like to talk about the Bible before we talk about it, because it's an amazing written thing. And I was just thinking about how long it's been here, because it started out people just passing things down and writing it on skins and what have you. And so it's amazing that a lot of that even lasted and made it. And then now we have this great book that's just chock full of all kinds of great things that, for whatever reason he chose to have people write it down. They wrote it down. And I think it's great that we can now sit at a table and talk to somebody over their phone or wherever they are about the things that are in that Bible all these years later.
It's a fascinating thing that when that was originally started, there was integrity to a person's word, and they wouldn't lie, and it was a big deal to be able to pass that down or pass that along to someone else accurately, and you made sure that you said exactly the right things. And culturally, a person's word, you could take a person at their word and believe what they told you, because they wouldn't, wouldn't be accurate about it.
As scribes were making copies, they literally somebody would read the word, you're writing the word, and then you would read back the words that you had just written, and they would read it on the original text to make sure. There was a whole lot of integrity in the way, and being a scribe was considered one of the upper echelon jobs. It would be almost like an attorney or a lawyer, a judge, something like that in our world today, because it was the Word of God, and there was a lot of preparation in how it was documented and passed down. The other thing that I think is interesting, especially as we look at the Old Testament, because it is so ancient. It's an ancient document. And a lot of people question, well, do we know who wrote this and do we know who wrote that? Well, one of the things we know for a fact, Jesus held those in his hand when he walked on the planet. And he never discounted that these were Moses' words, that I give you the sign of Jonah, that before Abraham was, I am. So he acknowledged the scriptures and held them up.
And he would have been holding handwritten scrolls, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
That's pretty fascinating, too. Okay, well, I just like to talk about the Bible, and that was unexpected, but it was good. So we'll turn this part over to the preachers now. Y'all carry on the discussion from there.
So, Jackson, you kind of took us to the beginning, or what we consider the beginning of the Bible, and we are going to move to what we call the end of the Bible with the book of Revelation. And we know that was written around a couple thousand years ago, and written by John. And we've been talking about the book of Revelation for a couple of weeks now, I think. And we're getting into the fourth chapter of it now. And when you come into this chapter, you start seeing descriptors of God. Some of the descriptors that are given to us are royalty. God is royal. Majesty. God is powerful. And we know that's just touching the surface of how we could describe our God, and we could never fully describe him. But just of those things like majesty, royalty, his power, powerful, sometimes we don't really give it the reverence that we should about all these qualities that God is. And we might forget about maybe how royal God is, or how majestic he is, or how powerful he is. And we just talked about this in our small group over coffee just the other day. And y'all kind of give me your take of some of those descriptors. Are there some that are one of those that maybe you don't ponder or think about enough? Or maybe you think about more than the others? Like for me, I kind of get stuck on the majesty of God, or maybe his royalty. Same thing. Because God is so much greater than we are. And I've got this, I don't want to call it a blind faith, but I just have this faith that I know God's going to take care of things because he is so much greater than me. And in my own personal life and testimony, I just stand amazed as I look back through my own life and see how God has directed my life. At times that I thought it was absolutely terrible, and I look back at how God used this entire journey to get me to today. And it's all because he is so much greater than we are. And so that's one that I kind of think about a lot. And I guess power would go along with that because he is in control of everything. But y'all have some thoughts on that, or one that sticks out to you more than the others?
I'd have a hard time choosing one.
Yeah.
And I feel like, all of those titles and those descriptions of who God is that are in Scripture, you think about he's omnipresent, omnipotent, what's the other one?
Omniscient.
Thank you. All-knowing. Those kind of encompass all of those things. And it's God is beyond we want to put him in a box. We want to know how he's going to respond. We want to control him, I think. I think that's that's a problem, is I want to control God. I want him to respond the way that I want him to respond. And all of those titles and descriptions and the picture that it paints of who he is just, it's impossible to grasp a hold of. And to grab a hold of any one of those ties it to another one. For me, anyway, it kind of does that. And I think about, somebody asked me a while ago, so in heaven, all we're going to do is sing holy, holy, holy all the time? That's all we're going to do? And as I studied that part of the Scripture, the angels are bowing down, and every time they come back up, they say, holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. And they see a different thing. It's like if you look at a diamond and all the facets in the diamond, and you turn it just a quarter of an inch, and the light hits it differently, and that's God. Because there are so many facets to who he is. I'm overwhelmed. And so they've got something, the angels have something fresh to worship perspective-wise. They get another perspective of who he is every time they bow down and they come back up. They see another.
You said a key word there, that you're overwhelmed.
Yes.
And I think we're not overwhelmed enough because we don't sit and dwell on these things really like I think we probably should. Because it should just blow our minds nonstop about how amazing he is, and how deep he is.
And culturally, I think we're at a place where so many people view God or Jesus as our buddy. You put your arm around him, he's like, oh, he's my good buddy. There's an aspect of him that is that, but that's not as all-encompassing as the picture that we get when we read Revelation like that.
Yeah, it's all of that and more, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking just a few weeks ago, we had the opportunity to go to the Grand Ole Opry, and we were backstage. Well, in the dressing room right beside ours was Vince Gill. On the other side was the Isaacs. Well, these are people that tremendous talents. And I was watching them interact with people backstage, and it was very casual. But then they stepped out on stage. And I'm telling you, Vince Gill still has a great voice. He didn't need backup singers, and he didn't need a guitar player, and he just sang, played his little guitar and sang, and hit all those same notes that you hear on the radio. And there's this awe and this majesty, and yet backstage he was very casual and conversational. And so I think God is all of those things. In my moments when I'm struggling, we can cry out, Abba Father, crawl up in his lap like a daddy. But at the same time, we don't need to forget that just because we are in a casual relationship and just because we have the right to call you Abba Father doesn't mean we shouldn't cry out, holy, 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 and recognize his power and his position and all of those things. And it is overwhelming. I think we have a hard time figuring out how he's all of those things, but he is.
And that's one of the things too. If you look at architecture, that's fascinating to me about basilicas. I don't know if you've ever been in a basilica.
Yes,
but
they're great to go in.
And they're trying to convey
High and lifted up
visually. That's it. Yeah, they're trying to convey visually this who God is. And one of the specific designs in cathedral typically is that the congregation is not close to the altar. They're back away from it. So it's not accessible, it's not easily approachable. But that's a whole different realm. But
and again, culturally speaking, we're so casual about everything.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember first time riding an airplane, my dad would have a coat on and a tie.
Oh yeah.
It was Sunday best, and today people look like they fell out of their bed and
they're literally wearing pajamas.
Didn't even bathe,
Yeah.
and they're getting on the airplane. But again, God wants us to have this casual relationship with him, but also wants us to understand his majesty. And I think that blows your doors off sometimes when you think about that. Right. When you're talking about basilicas and stuff, so all these Baptists that are sitting in the back row, they're actually just good Catholics. That makes all kinds of sense now. Okay,
good perspective.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
We've been making fun about these people sitting on the back row, and they just realize they're just not worthy.
They're actually higher and holier than you.
Right
back there on there.
Our cultural perspective too is different in that, I think about our new facility, and it's more open, and we don't walk into it with a sense of reverence. I don't mean that for everybody,
right?
But I think the common cultural perspective is it's designed to be a place of reverence. It's designed to be a place where you can focus on things. And we walk in with our beverages and I've noticed people shopping on their phones during during the pastor's
preaching.
message.
They're they're trying to look up a good message.
Yes. Looking up scripture.
What did
on
Adrian
Amazon.
What did Adrian Rogers say
was
about
on-
this? But again, in that culture in Jesus' day, and we don't think about this, we are so open, open door policy, open
Right.
door, sunshine laws. Everything is open, and you can come in and look. And bless their hearts, my kids and my grandkids. I'm the pastor. And I could be in there counseling somebody, but they don't see any problem at all. Just busting in my office,
Yep.
even if the door's shut, busting in the office. Hey, Papa, And so they don't get that. But in Jesus' day, you
Yeah.
did not go into the presence of a man, the senior man. You did not go into his presence and crawl up in his lap and ask him questions. Where's the milk and cookies? He invited you in, or you didn't come in at all. And that's why, when Jesus tells the story of the father who ran after the prodigal, that was kind of unheard of. It was
Yep.
undignified
Yes. Yeah.
in their culture.
Yeah.
So he is the God who runs after us, but he is also the God who sits on a throne high and lifted up. And
Right.
This is the reason I've been so silent during this part of this conversation is when you start asking about, I guess, words about describe. I don't think I can. I really don't think I can because I'm not real churchy.
What?
But when in this particular conversation, when it comes up, I don't feel like I have words, and I have a lot of words, but I don't feel like I got words to explain in my head who he is or what he is.
Well,
I've said before, I'm a little uncomfortable with calling him my friend.
Right.
I'm going like, yeah, but that's just me. That's just me. I'm not traditionally really close to people though, so I probably relate to that a little different than some do. But I really can't explain the way I think about God. I mean, I can't describe it. I can't explain it.
Well, and the opposite side of that is once you start, where do you stop? God, I mean, there are just so many things to that, and it doesn't. Just like the diamond, it doesn't stop. You just keep finding more and more.
Well, that's a good thing, though.
Absolutely.
It kind of keeps you, I guess, longing for him or trying to understand.
There's something so much better than us, something so much better than anything we've experienced in this world.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. Once you realize that, it takes a lot of stress off of you.
Yeah, we just got to remember it.
Yeah, when you
We
realize
forget
that you don't have to figure it all out. It's been figured out. You just got to, church word. You just got to have faith.
follow.
Yeah, follow, and well, that's a church word too.
No, it's not.
That's too, faith and follow.
Follow.
Yeah, isn't that a churchy word?
So you're going to bleep out all our F words?
Just the follow, faith and follow. Okay.
And friend, he don't like friend
What kind
either.
of show is this? We can't use the F words.
Forgiveness.
That's a hard edit right there. But I don't remember where we were.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, yeah. You just got to believe that he is, I guess, who you think he is in an irreverent way, and then carry on as though he's got it covered. I don't know if that made sense, but I'm not adequate to have this discussion. I just can't. A man of words, and I can't find words to explain the way I think about that.
There is no other being that is comparable at all. And all we can do is compare aspects and portions and pieces, but there's no way to express who he is.
That makes sense. That's
I mean,
why I'm
how do
having
you
trouble.
How do you express I am?
Yeah, when that was said, I mean, that's like way beyond
That was mic drop.
what I can think.
Yeah, that's
I mean, okay.
I want to do that someday.
Yeah.
I don't have a smart aleck come back for that one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
all right. I didn't mean to hijack that, but
It's good.
It's all right.
I never know where to drop in on this particular conversation because I just don't. I know, in church, when you're in church and you're in your Connect or Sunday school or your small group or whatever you get together, you want to be able to have an answer. You want to participate in conversation. But this particular place, I can never really come up with the right thing right here. which I'm doing an excellent job of not doing it right here again. Anyway.
So I have a question. In the same area in Scripture, it talks about, we're talking about the scroll, and there's a phrase that says that John wept because no one was worthy to open the scroll. So why is John feeling compelled to weep? Can you explain that?
My understanding has always been, of course, you got to realize John's on the Isle of Patmos.
Mm-hmm.
He is also the last apostle left. He's being terrorized, made fun of, and he had been made a promise. I go to prepare a place for you so that where I am, there you may be also.
Mm.
And so the book of Revelation starts with, Jesus basically says, I want you to write what was. That was John's experience walking with Jesus. Now I want you to write what is. That's the current age. And I want you to write what is to come. So I believe, this is me, when we see Revelation chapter 5,
Mm-hmm.
John has a vision in heaven. And I believe this scroll is the final act. It's the wrath of God being poured out upon the earth, and there's no one worthy to take the scroll. And in some ways, John is like, so our suffering never ends. I am stuck in this world, and it never stops. Have mercy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why he's crying.
Yeah, he's on this journey,
Yep.
and we're walking with him in this journey. And at that portion of the Scripture, he's having this moment of crisis.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh no, where's our hope at?
Yep.
But then we get to keep reading, and we find out, oh, there is hope. But at that moment, he's like, man, I'm devastated.
Yep.
because I don't know what we're going to do now.
Yep. And again, all we have are earthly comparisons, but I've seen people who've gone through cancer, and kind of that first go around, they're gung-ho. Maybe it's breast cancer or, something like that, and they're gung-ho. I'm going to do the surgeries. I'm going to take the chemo. I'm going to beat this thing. And then they get to the end of their treatments, and the doctor looks at them and says, you're clear. And all of a sudden, they start living life again. But then when that second diagnosis comes along, the cancer's back, you can almost see them just, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Where's
my hope at?
I can't do this again. And that's kind of how I feel about John. He's like, I've done it this long, but I'm tired, and Jesus, please just come on back and let's be done with this. Is what I see there.
Yep.
But yeah, there is
Makes
hope
sense.
in it.
Yeah.
There's hope in it because he is worthy to take up the scroll.
Yeah. And that's the joy for us as well, because we're getting to read the entire story. We have it all in print for us. We get to see it all beginning to end and stuff, and we're not walking that journey as it's being revealed to him. We've got it all already written out for us. I just kind of try to put myself in his place of what he was experiencing. And I'm just like, man, just the ups and downs that we have in life, with sorrows that we have, but then what he was going through, and then he's looking at this about all of creation, every being to ever exist. This is impacting them. It's not just one person that's dealing with a cancer. This is everybody that's ever existed. What a roller coaster!
Wow.
These two chapters are just really intriguing because I think it shows that there's this worship going on in heaven all along. We know all through Scripture we're called to worship him. Actually, back in an Old Testament book, a prophet by the name of Amos basically talks about kind of in the middle of the monarchy. So this is not at the beginning of the monarchy of Israel or at the end, but sort of in the middle. He talks about this idea that God is not happy with Israel's worship because it has just become noise. And that should cause us to pause and say, how is our worship? And again, this is not you leading worship or me leading worship, but this is our thoughts.
Right.
how do we come prepared to whatever church we go to, or how do we become prepared every day that we wake up? You know, we have these funny little sayings. Well, it's a good day. I'm above ground. Well,
is it?
Is it?
Are you? As a Christian, it could be better.
It could be a better day, right? You could be there with him.
Jesus right now.
But it's a good day no matter what if you're with him. And so how do we, I guess that's the way I want to think about that. How do we keep our worship forefront and relevant and not just become something we do out of normalcy, just complacent, I guess.
Routine.
Checking that box, yeah.
Well, people like to plan, and it's like when, you know, a couple of Sundays when we've moved things around for various reasons, but one is I pray that the congregation never goes into autopilot.
Right.
And I know I've got a tendency to do that if I'm following a particular person that I want to listen to, and they typically do, you know, whatever it is, 3 songs, 4 songs, and then they have the offering, and then the preacher speaks, and then there's a call to, or there's a invitation at the end of it. But there's not a reason to do that. And if you have a reason to do that, that's fine. But it's like I grew up saying the Lord's Prayer every Sunday, and it wasn't long. I memorized it pretty quickly. And then once it's memorized, the words just come out of your mouth. And do you keep thinking about them or not? And that's a reason that I would prefer not to do the liturgical thing the same every week.
Right.
It needs to be fresh. So I'm not sure how you keep that. You know, you have to be at that place where you understand that worship is not, the words worship and music are not the same. Music can be worship, but worship is so much larger than that. And it's like I'll encourage the people that are participate in the music part of the service to be worshiping on their way as they drive on Sunday morning. Worship doesn't begin at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. It's continual, and you see that in Revelation. It's all the time. It's ongoing. It's not Wednesday night, it's not Sunday morning, it's all the time. And we always drop in. I think about the very first time I realized hearing the birds when the sun comes up. And it starts out, it's really quiet, and as the sun gets brighter and brighter, the birds get loud. I don't know if you've ever done that or not, but you intentionally sit and listen to it, and the birds get to this crescendo where they're really loud, and the sun comes up, and that's they're worshiping. Nature is worshiping all of the time, and all we're doing on Sunday morning is dropping in to the rest of creation that's participating in that. So we need to be conscious of it. Did I answer what you were asking?
Well, that's good, but how do we keep it from being noise?
Well,
right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what you're saying is right on, because it's a personal responsibility of us. It's not, as the worship pastor of the church, it's not your responsibility to make sure that it's not all noise out there, because the worship is the combination of everybody coming in together that makes up the church. I have a responsibility for Michael, and Michael has to have his heart ready to worship. And like I said, I should be worshiping throughout the week. And then when I get to come with my church family on Sunday morning together, and there are hundreds of us here, and we should feed off, I mean, that should really just amp it up and take it to the next level. But if Michael hasn't done his part, if Michael's heart is not right, then yeah, I'm coming in and I'm singing and I'm just making noise. And God does not want, that's not what he wants at all. He wants my heart in the worship the right way. And that's how we keep it from becoming noise, I think.
Neil said something that interested me, because I was thinking about, and I'll talk about this in just a second, about the Lord's Prayer. I was thinking about that, but then you started talking about the birds. And the birds are just noise until you stop and pay attention to what's going on there. And like you said, I'm a big fan of just sitting out in nature and just listening. And so, like, when you listen, like you were saying, and you realize that it's not just a bird there at the tree beside you, but there's some miles away you're hearing, and then you're hearing this huge concert of that natural noise and it means more when you start thinking in terms of what that really is and what's going on around you. And it's not noise anymore. It has meaning. Several years ago, the Lord's Prayer was something I realized that I had, I guess, said and read and all that, but I never really, it was a little bit Greek to me, the meaning and all, and I spent a good amount of time daily just saying one phrase of that at a time, and when I would say the one phrase, I would stop and really think about that phrase and what it meant. And it took a long time to go through the Lord's Prayer. But what that did to me after about a year's time is now when I think about that Lord's Prayer, that written thing, or say it to myself, which I do a lot at night before I go to bed, just to refresh in my head. If you take that thing and just go a few words at a time and really break it down and think about what that's saying, that becomes something totally different. It becomes a whole different thing than just this thing that you recite and move on. And that you made me think of that when you were, I was thinking about it, but when you talk about the birds, it's the same thing.
There's one of the aspects of when you study spiritual formation and the practices of prayer and all of those things. There's one that was it's a thing called Lectio Divina, and what it is focusing on a single passage, not a paragraph, not a whole chapter, but focusing on a single passage at a time and meditating on that or ruminating, if you want to say that.
I do that Lectio
Divina.
Yeah, I do that a lot, just outside, just the one thing.
Yeah.
I got close.
Man.
What did I say?
I'm not sure.
It wasn't what
it
you
was
said.
a dingo something.
Maybe the dingo ate you, baby.
Say it again, the real word.
Lectio Divina.
Okay, now you can carry on. I'm out of the way.
I hope I'm right.
I hope so too.
You said it with confidence.
Our listening audience will have no doubt.
they're not going to look it up.
They're not going to have any clue. I don't know about you, but for us sometimes on staff, and this is not for anybody to feel sorry for us, but because you're so much responsible for things, trying to catch things to not be a deterrent to worship. If the music's too loud, if I mispronounce words or, get lost in a story, so we're really responsible for helping to lead in worship. But I'm always amazed at those moments when God interrupts my space and you have a worship experience. And it's usually in the most unlikely of circumstances. I remember riding down the road one day and just having this conversation with God, and all of a sudden I had to pull off. I just had to pull off the road because I was in tears. And it was not because of what I was saying to him, but what he was saying to me. And I was like, oh, I felt about this big. I felt so small, but it was comforting. It wasn't a fear. It was this comfort, and I was like, wow, we really do serve a big God. Several years ago, I went to the Billy Graham Cove and wasn't having a bad time in my ministry. I was just there to do a little renewal weekend. They started singing. I'm sitting there in tears, and my wife's looking at me like, are you having a nervous breakdown? You're always worried about the preachers, like, are you having a nervous breakdown? Are you fixing to quit? And I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm good. I'm good in my marriage. I'm good in my job. My kids are okay. I'm not sad. It's just this, I guess, because I didn't have to be on, and I could just sit there and worship.
And,
we were just talking about that. Was it today or yesterday or something about, because of what is required of us, we miss out on being able to worship a lot of times. It's like, oh, gotta check the air conditioners. What's broken around the church, things like that. But when we get to, oh man,
it's a difficult thing to help people understand that worship, what we come and bring to the table, as minimal as it is not for us. It's for God. And none of us are worthy. It doesn't matter how much we practice, whatever we're doing, it's for God, and it's not. It's very frustrating when, maybe somebody comments and says, well, you didn't do my favorite, blah, blah, blah. I just hope it's God's favorite. That to me, that's what we're supposed to be doing there. And that gets said every once in a while to the congregation is the worship team is not just these people up here that know which songs are coming next. It's everybody in this room. And Kierkegaard said, we serve an audience of one. And the point of that is this is not for us. This is not about us. This is about him. And I almost went, this is about him, but I don't know that he's up there. I know he's everywhere. So, okay. Zip.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's awesome.
I guess the big picture in all this is, one, we've been invited to worship. I love where John says, and I was invited, come up here. God invites us into his presence.
Yes.
We don't bang on the door and rush in like we're at a concert. He's invited us to come. Therefore, we should take it serious and feel privileged to do exactly what John saw. We can do that now. We'll struggle because of our sin nature, but we can practice because one day we'll do it for the fullness thereof. But the good thing is there is a God out there who wants us to be in his presence. And he doesn't ask us to worship him because he's an egomaniac. He asks us to worship him because he's the only one worthy to be worshiped. And it's what we were created for.
Yep.
Here's a thought.
Yes.
I don't think he's out there. I think he's right here.
Yes.
I think he's tap you on the arm right here and say, I'm
Absolutely.
right here.
Absolutely.
And so to me, it's like when we become aware, I guess, of where he is, it stops you in your tracks, or it does me.
Oh, yeah.
I still think the only thing that's separating us from him right now is the physical, your senses. That's personally.
Yeah. It's literally
right there.
because Paul says we're fighting against things unseen.
Yes.
Oh, he just texted me. I felt it buzz in my pocket. He's sending me. I'll read that during the break. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
That's all right. No, but you're exactly right. It's salvation is on the tip of your tongue.
Right.
Jesus told people, today you've come close to the kingdom of God. I mean, it's there. It's all around us. Angels are around. We just don't physically see, physically hear, and understand their presence.
Speaking of which, HD, you stepped right in there. Somebody that might be listening to us,
Yes, sir.
or watching us right now, who's got this nervous feeling about something that's been said right here that's making them a little nervous about, wait a minute, something ain't right here. Could that be that he's tapping them on the arm right there?
Yeah, conviction is one of those things that we feel. And you'll know it when you feel it.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
So,
What
why don't you
with
talk
that?
to them?
To those people that are feeling that
Pull over the side of the road.
God's
take care of
trying
it.
to talk to you, absolutely. Just have that conversation. And I would say, yes, in your head, but out loud. God, if you're real, I want to know you. Continue to reveal yourself to me. I'm not finding any joy in this life. I know there has to be more. I think that's what almost every adult knows. There has to be something more.
Something else out there, yeah.
Because this is
Or
good.
here.
Life is good here, but man, it's so marred with all this stuff.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you don't necessarily have to be at the end of your rope
No.
for that moment to hit you. It can be, you could be living a really good life, but just realize like,
Yeah, you
what
can have your
said
belly
is-
full and money in your pocket, and you go, this is good, but there's got to be something more than this.
Yeah.
And that's in that moment when you just cry out to God. And I don't think there's a magical sentence that you have to say, but just that you want to know him and asking him to reveal himself, and then just be aware. Be aware, because he'll put those people around you. He'll give you that scripture. Ask yourself, why are you listening to this podcast?
And you don't have to go find a preacher. I didn't.
No, absolutely
I
not.
found one after.
Yeah,
Then I shopped at preachers.
yeah. That's a good way to do that.
That's a joke, sort of.
I was in the bargain bin, wasn't I? Go ahead and say it.
For you, the $2 bin.
Welcome to the dollar store.
You're what we got when we turned.
You're what we got. That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
We took one in to trade it in. They said we don't have those anymore, but we got one of these.
We're out of our best model, but here's what we got.
Well, that didn't go exactly where I intended, but
hey.
So here's a neat little caveat though. We're all Christian men here, and we're laughing, having a big old time.
Yep.
You could do that because when you get that other pressure off of you back in there, you're free to live. Carry on. Kind of like the bell on the airplane, you know, when you're free to unbuckle. And it's not exactly like that, but
there's a little bit of freedom at least.
A little bit of freedom. Speaking of freedom, did we wrap up?
That's
where we
good.
need to go?
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a break, come back, play Inny or Outty. Exciting times just ahead.
You may have seen people wearing Mike the Baptist t-shirts or hoodies lately and wondered to yourself, hey self, where could I get some of that bling bling? Well, tell yourself not to worry, because it's easy to order Mike the Baptist logo tees and hoodies for yourself or your family and friends. Visit MikeTheBaptist.com, click on the merchandise link, and shop away. Lots of colors and sizes to pick from. And now available, I'm Just a Christian Trying Not to Cuss tees and hoodies. Mike the Baptist is all about real talk with real people, spreading the good news to a world who can really use some good news right now. When you purchase Mike the Baptist tees and hoodies, you're helping Mike and the crew pay the bills to keep Mike the Baptist on the interwebs and talking about God's love for all people. It's really that simple. And we make no apologies for having fun and living out the Christian life. Order your tees or hoodies today with just the logo or familiar sayings you hear on Mike the Baptist episodes. Just visit MikeTheBaptist.com and click on merchandise. Thanks so much for watching and listening to Mike the Baptist and for your support in helping us spread the good news. What a great planet.
Hey everybody, it's time to play America's almost favoriteest new game show, Inny or Outty, where we challenge our guests to figure out if a phrase we give them is actually in the Bible or out of the Bible. Sharpen your wits, guest. You're about to be in the hot seat of Bible stuff, because you're the next contestant on Inny or Outty. Here's Mike.
Before Inny or Outty, what did America do without knowing what's in that Bible and what's out of it? How did America get by saying all these things so loosely and not really knowing? Isn't that, it's hard to understand, isn't it?
Their knowledge base was shrinkled.
They had a shrinkled knowledge base.
That's very good.
I saw that on that sign.
Oh, yeah. Neil was somewhere the other day and sent me a picture he was in a craft shop and it said, the best shrinkles are on a cake or something. What did it say?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, one of the letters was covered.
I did notice
that. Price tag over it.
I claimed it.
I think it was
a
shrinkled.
P, but I claimed the H. Anyway, thanks for the picture.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, speaking of things that Amazon came to my door a couple of days ago, and
that was kind of the.
I had mentioned recently on an episode.
Wrong side. There you go.
Oh,
that's it.
Of Mike the Baptist. Where is that?
That's it. You got it. Just cover my face up. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had mentioned
like
that somebody was, I think it was on the Preacher's Wife series recently. They were talking about Beauty and the Beast and The Princess Bride and movies that I'm not clear which is which. And I had a lot of questions about Princess Bride, asking if that's where the monster was, and they were looking at me like, what? Anyway, turns out I had not seen it. My wife says I have, but I don't remember seeing it. But anyway, and then on another episode, after that, a week or so later, I was told the story about Denny and that whole thing about how that happened. Well, the other day, Amazon shows up, and I go out and get it, and inside it's a DVD. It's brand new. Somebody spent a little money. A movie, The Princess Bride, and a note in there that said, a gift for you. You have to watch this. It's hilarious, from Denny.
That's awesome.
If anybody out there knows who that is, it's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah, if you know, don't admit to it.
Yeah, don't tell him.
Because it'll be a space there.
It's like turnabout is fair play thing, but I'd love to know who said it. I've accused a few people, and they've all denied it. But Inny or Outty, folks, We're simply going to say some things and ask you, is it in the Bible or out of the Bible? Therefore, it's called
Inny or
Outty.
Simple as that. No need to explain it. Neil and I are in the power positions today. Neil, would you like to go first?
I'd be happy to.
The other three of us will be the contestants today.
Okay.
Have at it.
All right. Do angels have wings?
Well, that's not fair.
Why?
Well, because I don't know the answer exactly.
That's the point of the game.
Well, I know, but well, you know what everybody obviously thinks immediately. My gut says yes.
The old guts are talking.
The guts are talking.
What'd you have for lunch?
Smoked oysters,
Oh, it's talking.
broccoli, and some potato chips.
It's a talking.
That explains the noises I've
An
been
odd,
hearing.
it was an odd lunch. Quite odd lunch. You know, you caught me off guard because in your head, angels have wings, but then I thought, wait, do they? But now I'm thinking they do.
It's an amazing journey up here, isn't it?
It's like
In
a
your head.
theater with 8 different rooms up in my head.
Is it like one of those drive-in theaters where you have to park in different parking lots to see the different screens?
No, it's like the regular cinema you go in, but you got to choose
8.
which hall to go down and pick which number, and there's something different playing in each one of them.
I think it's more like a sports bar where different games playing all around.
That would work too.
That's what's going on.
What was your question?
I had no idea.
What do you do? Angels have wings?
Do
What
angels
do
have
It was
wings?
his question, not my question.
Oh, well, but you're supposed to be answering.
What do you think, Brother Koontz?
I want to say yes.
Now he said that very matter of factly, like Koontz is prone to do.
Yeah, here's my
Conundrum.
because I know Neil's kind of a smarty pants kind of fella. So
Oh, you mean educated?
Seraphim, we know the seraphim are around the throne.
Okay.
They have 6
Right.
sets of wings.
Are you classifying them
Two-
separately from
two
the
covering
angels?
their feet, 2 covering their eyes,
Oh.
2 flying around.
Snuck right up on us there,
So
Neil.
that's
I
the
see.
seraphim, but I do believe that seraphim are a type of angel. I think they would have to be in the family classification.
That's
of a
my
seraphim.
that is my take on it.
This is getting
Yes.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to change.
Are you gonna say no?
Did I say an answer yet?
You
said
said yes.
your gut said yes.
said yes. The oysters on the
And the
national-
broccoli were
Coughed
like, oh
up.
yeah.
They're not talking yet.
Yeah.
They
The
will.
broccoli's
Yeah, I
like
bet
that.
they
I
will.
love those little cans of smoked oysters.
Oh, it's that kind.
Oh, I love those things.
Oh.
I'm like an old man that sits
You
out
put
under a tree
Tabasco
with
and
a
stuff?
package of crackers and.
Do you have the little
Smoked
what's the
oysters.
fish? The
I don't like
sardines.
sardines. No,
Do you,
no.
You don't do those.
I don't like
but
those.
you'll do
Somebody
the
put some of
oysters.
those in the hubcaps of my truck on my wedding. And when I went out
Fresh
to get
out
my
of the
truck,
See, my dad had them put on the engine.
yeah, it's no good. But I tricked them because I didn't take that truck anyway.
I'm trying to think.
Sarah,
Like
look.
Gabriel, Michael, the archangel. Is there any passage that says anything about them having wings?
That's why I was thinking that the angel is a different kind of its own little caveat.
So one angel in Isaiah took the coal off the fire and brought it. It flew over, brought it and touched his lip. But was that a seraphim? Dadgummit. But a seraphim, I still think's an angel. But I just know him.
I don't guess we couldn't ask him to clarify
No,
whether it's
we
angel
just
or
got to go with
seraphim.
what he
Yeah,
said.
we got to go.
He just said angel.
I'm sticking with yes.
Okay.
I'm going
that's
with
my
y'all
question.
because
Your gut said so, but
My
you,
gut
you
said
led
so
us down this
originally.
road.
Yeah.
I did.
It really is your
Oysters and
fault.
broccoli are very rarely wrong.
But, just be on the safe side.
We'll have to follow back up with that one later today.
There's a chance I was.
Yeah.
I'm going with y'all. It's an Inny, Neil. We're going with Inny.
So there's another classification, and it's cherubim.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
That's the only ones. It does not list the word wing with angel, but it is listed with seraph or with cherubim. It is with that,
Yeah.
but they are supposedly not exactly the same thing.
So are we wrong?
We're not sure.
I think it was wrong.
I went through and was looking.
wanna
I wanted to
contest
make
this.
a list. I wanted to make a list, and anywhere I found angel, there's no. Anywhere I found wings, they're not with.
That's what I was kind of
Angels.
wondering if you were getting at, is the angel, the seraphim and cherubims and all that flying around.
Is it
I mean,
okay? Is it okay for me to pull my phone out now?
It
I
is
think
now.
so.
All right. Because we've already
Giving our answers.
Are you looking up an interesting
No, just go
fact?
ahead. Go ahead. Y'all are good.
Uh-oh, he's up to something? This could be dangerous.
1.5.
Okay, so that's good, Neil. There's another good thing to know. If you're out there throwing angel wings around, you might ought to do a little study in there real quick.
Call them seraphim wings.
Yeah.
Or
Talk about them
Cupid.
seraphims.
Isn't it now?
Seraphim wings.
Scripturally, angels are not friendly looking. They're scary.
Angels?
Yeah, and that's whenever an angel shows up. What is it? What's it say? What's the first thing it says?
Boo?
Fear not.
No, I guess not.
Right?
Oh, yeah, fear not. Boo. I'm sorry. Sometimes
That's
you miss.
Casper.
Sometimes you take a shot and you miss.
That's a Casperism. Casper.
Is Casper an angel or
He's
a
a
ghost?
friendly ghost.
He's a ghost. So the
friendly
ghosts and angels are not the same either,
I
correct?
hope not. I don't think so.
This
Haven't
went-
looked that up.
This went deeper than you meant, I think.
It did.
Okay, we lost that one, but we learned something. I'm now going to take over the power position, and I'm going to give you a scripture, and you tell me if this is in the Bible or not, which is what we're here for. Are you ready?
Which version?
Of Ready? Which version of Ready?
Which
I
version of
think
the Bible?
this will be any version, I think. I'll have to verify that later, but
That's a terrible answer, but go ahead.
it is a terrible answer. Your nose is like the Tower of Lebanon looking toward Damascus.
There's something very much like that in Song of Solomon.
Very much like that in Song of Solomon. You mean where the guy's saying sweet things
Yes.
to the lady, and you think that
He's
he would have
describing
said,
her feces.
"Your
yes.
nose is like the Tower of Lebanon, looking toward
Two
Damascus."
fawns running down a hillside.
Tame Impalas. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Neil is pretty specific. He's even quoting a book.
He said something similar, though.
I said something similar. I
Read that
don't know.
again.
Oh, okay.
Your nose is like a drippy faucet. What?
No, your nose is like
That's
the
a
Tower
contentious woman.
of Lebanon,
Tower of Lebanon.
looking toward Damascus. So your nose in this phrase of mine actually has eyes, I guess. Your nose is like the Tower of
Well, it's
Lebanon,
face towards
looking toward Damascus. It doesn't sound like a description of beauty to me, but maybe it's a pretty little pointy nose or something. But I'd have to look at the Tower of Lebanon. But the question is that phrase in the Bible? Neil has this interesting grin. It's like he knows something. I think. Am I misreading that?
So, Neil,
No, I'm just.
2 questions for you.
Okay.
What did you have for lunch, and what is your gut telling you?
I had a grapefruit.
Okay.
My gut's telling me I probably need something additional.
That's
Yeah,
what mine would
right.
be saying. Give me some biscuits.
Yeah.
That's what mine would be saying.
Biscuits and grapefruit.
Send some biscuits down here.
Well, that was not very helpful. I am
That's a
very
weird.
stumped.
That's a weird phrase. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm leaning towards no. I'm leaning towards no because I just don't think Jackson reads his Bible. No, I'm just kidding.
Isn't it?
Whoa.
I was getting this great line ready, and then you threw that out there. I was going to say, isn't it interesting how you tender your responses here because you don't want to be blatantly wrong.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah,
leave
I know.
yourself a little out somewhere.
I think we're doing what they
gotta be
call
careful.
parsing words, right?
Yes, but now some time ago we
We're
decided
wasting time.
that. Oh no, we're parsing words.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not because it has
No.
to be that phrase.
Yes.
Sorry.
And that would be my hesitation is those exact words in there.
Yeah,
But
because
there's-
I've changed the phrases before.
you have, and there are descriptions in that book that I mentioned that are like that,
Okay.
where it's something that we wouldn't. I would not dare make that comparison. My
Yeah,
wife
there's
knows.
one in there about like your teeth look like the head of a camel or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was something just in the news the other day about noses and somebody being cast in a movie, and I think it's somebody portraying a Jew. I think it's a Jew.
What does it have to do with
And
this?
they have a prosthetic nose that's
Oh.
much bigger
Yes.
because of that race.
Oh,
And I
really?
was like, this is interesting. And you bring up this question.
So their noses could be like towers.
I have not seen that news article, by
It
the
was
way.
just
So
in
this
the
is
last
very
day or
ironic.
two that I saw it, and I can't remember who the actor was that was cast or what the movie
So,
is. But there's an uproar over it because they didn't hire a Jewish actor for it.
Oh, I did hear something about that. There's more of that happening in Hollywood, which is just kind of silly.
right.
Bunch of sissies.
So is this Inny or Outty?
Oh, yes. Your
I'm-
nose is like the Tower of Lebanon looking toward Damascus.
Yeah, I'm thinking he twisted something.
Yeah. I think it's their chin.
Could be their ears.
Your little toe is like the Tower of Lebanon,
We won't go any further.
Yeah.
pointing toward Damascus.
Your forehead.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's your
What's our vote, guys?
Let's say no.
You're saying Audi?
You think he's twisting it?
I think the expression is very much like something that's in there, but I don't know if it's exact.
Yeah, let's go now. We could be 0 for 2 today.
Are we Audis?
We're Outties.
I'm still saying I think it's in there, but okay.
Wait, what? You just changed on us.
No, I was going along with you. That's
I
what I
thought
meant.
all along you were like, no, I don't. I think
No.
it's different.
There
So you
is
think
something
that phrase,
very much like that.
much
in
like
there,
it, or
if
that
it's not.
phrase.
I'm not positive.
He don't trust me is what he's saying on the phrase.
See, I don't-
That's right.
That's right. I don't trust you either. I think you twisted a word.
So y'all are Audi.
Yeah, I guess so.
The NIV, Song of Songs 7:4 says, "Your nose is like the Tower of Lebanon, looking toward Damascus." It's an Inny,
Wow.
but it's odd. I will say it's odd, but like you said, there's a lot of those
No
in
wonder
that.
God put that movie on my brain.
You just didn't pay
Not the
attention.
nose.
Yeah, he was trying to
The
give you.
big
He was trying to
nose.
send you. I
He
should have
was.
checked my text message when he buzzed me. He might have been giving you an answer for something else.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Okay, so we had 2 losses.
Total failures.
Some days that happens, but we learned something. So
Big
like
noses are in the Bible.
next date you're on with your wife out there and you're at Carrabba's and you're ordering dessert, and you look over her while you're waiting and you say, "Honey, your nose is a lot like the Tower of Lebanon, looking toward Damascus." And she'll say, "Check." Maybe not. Okay, speaking of breaks, we're going to take one, come back and sing you a hymn and wrap up this episode. Because we may be doing another episode here very shortly after we get some coffee. That's behind the scenes. You don't need to know that information.
Thanks
Now
for playing.
you do. Okay,
Thanks for playing, Inny.
We'll be back.
Oh, wow. What a great contestant and a fine sport today on Inny or Outty, America's almost favorite new game show. Study up, future guest people. You're next in the hot seat for Inny or Outty.
You know, folks, during the break, we broke into a discussion about how bad we could possibly do the hymn we're about to do. But Brother Hodo, in his infinite wisdom, stopped us all and said, "Boys, brothers." He didn't say boys, he said brothers, because it was a spiritual thing he was getting at. He said, "Brothers." What did you say?
Something about joy.
We've been talking about worship.
Yes.
And so worship is not about how good you sing,
There
but
you
that you
go.
made a joyful noise.
There you go.
So we're going to try our best at making a joyful noise.
We're about to make a joyful noise for you. It's page 129 in your Mike the Baptist hymnal. And Neil has the lips. Well, if you're not watching, you won't understand that. Something you need to watch. Page 129, your Mike the Baptist hymnal. Thanks for being with us today. We'll say that again when we're done, but we like to say it before and after. So you'll know that we appreciate you being there. You might not ever get rich, but let me tell you, it's better than digging a ditch. There ain't no telling you might meet a movie star or maybe an Indian chief at the car wash. Working at the car wash, girl. Come on and sing it with me. Car wash. Sing it with the feeling, y'all. Car wash, yeah. Ooh. Work and work. Well, those cars never seem to stop coming.
Work and work.
Keep those rags and machines humming.
Work and work.
My fingers to the bone. Work. Ooh. Ooh. Talking about the car wash. Come on and sing it for me. The car wash, girl. Ooh. Ooh. The car wash. Sing it with the feeling, y'all. Car wash, yeah.
I wasn't used to this new version.
No. Well, it's the newer hymnal.
Yeah.
The old hymnal we lost.
This is the apostolic version.
Something like that. From the mouth of Brother Hodo. Speaking of Hodo, thanks, HD.
Hey, great to be here.
Good day. Michael Koontz,
Jackson.
Neil Andrews, myself, Mike the Baptist. We're happy that you stayed with us this long. We're sorry about the ham.
We're sorry you stayed with us.
We're sorry you stayed with us. But anyway, hey, if you're listening, we'll see you Sunday at 5 at my home church, Temple Baptist, 117 Marlin Road in White House, Tennessee. We will cause great chaos in the sanctuary of our home church. Come be there if you can. Did I miss anything?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You were going to say that again.
I was going to say thanks again for being with us, right? Mm-hmm. And so thank you for reminding me.
Sure.
And thank all of you all. And remember, folks, we're all just Christians.
Trying not to
Cuss.
Period.
Excellent. Okay.
Mike the Baptist